Today I thought I would talk about K-pop idols and their relationships with K-pop fans. For those of you who are new to my channel and not into K-pop, you might think, what's going on with this whole K-pop thing? Why are there so many obsessive seeming fans? Or you might just think, I don't really get it. It kind of seems lame. But me being introduced to the K-pop world through my channel, I've gotten to experience it firsthand. And K-pop is a little different in that it's more than just a music genre. Think of it as like a subculture. It's like people are into the culture of K-pop. It's not generally just the music they're into. If someone really likes a K-pop group, they're probably following their other content online as well. The way I was thinking about it the other day is it's like this ongoing reality show where we're following the lives of these K-pop stars. And yes, we get to see them perform, we get to see their music, we get excited about that. But more than that, we enjoy their personalities. And what the K-pop world allows us to do is it allows us to get to know these K-pop stars on a more intimate level. K-pop fans love their K-pop stars, they love their K-pop groups, and there's reasons for that. It's not just, hey, there's this crazy teenaged obsessed fan, although that does happen in the fandom, just like in any other fandoms. But more than that, there's like a real genuine love for these artists. And part of that is because people feel like they genuinely know these people. And you can't deny the unbelievable support and loyalty and love these fans feel for their K-pop stars. So why not look at this and say, hey, maybe there's something we can learn from this. Maybe there is something to this. Maybe there's something to this multi-billion-dollar industry. Maybe there's something to this overwhelmingly, fiercely devoted and loyal and loving fan base. I think it's only right that I extract some learnings from this whole ordeal. So, first off, they speak to their audience, they speak to their fan base directly. And what they'll do is they'll show very, very clearly and explicitly their appreciation for their fans. Fans always come first, and they're always referencing their fan base. They have names for their fan bases. For instance, BTS, which is probably the biggest K-pop group in the world, their fan base is called ARMY.
아미! 아미라고.
Always, constantly showing their appreciation for their fans. And what I think this does is, I think, really make their fans feel seen. And they make their fans feel like, hey, these guys are doing this for us. And we hear it all the time. And I'll roll some clips throughout this video. We hear it all the time from these groups, how appreciative they are of their fan bases. And I think, in turn, the fan bases can feel that. And they feel seen because of that.
아미분들께 먼저 가장 큰 영광을 돌립니다.
저희의 영원한 마음속 1위는 저희 아미 여러분들입니다. 정말 감사하고 사랑합니다.
Me talking about this right now isn't going to do the relationship justice. You really have to feel it and experience to see the love between these groups and their fans. There's a guy I follow in one of the groups, BTS, Jungkook. Some of you may have heard of him. He does these live streams. He goes live with his fans just voluntarily, and millions of people will show up for a live stream. And he's just kicking it with them, and he'll talk about his life. He might be drinking a bottle of wine or casually shooting the shit with his fan base. Maybe he'll look at the screen and answer some questions. But, the underlying sentiment is always like, I'm not doing this because I have to. I'm not talking to my fans and telling them how much I love them and appreciate because I have to. It never feels like it's an obligation. The sense you get is, I want to do this. Like, I really fuck with my fans. I really like them. I really care about them. And I'm very astutely aware that if my fans weren't here, I wouldn't be able to do the stuff that I love to do.
You're the reason in my life that keeps me going. You're the reason why I am here today. So I love you.
Army, your smiles, your happiness truly brings meaning to my life.
So that's very clearly communicated, and it's very explicitly communicated from BTS and a lot of other groups that I've seen interact with their fan bases too. So this is like a staple in the K-pop world. Is it's fandom first, it's fandom centric. Just one really quick example was Jin from BTS. When he came back from the military in South Korea, you have to do a mandatory military stint for, I think it's 18 months. And Jin comes back, and the first thing he does is he does a live stream with his fans, and then he organizes a hugging event. You got to know this guy. He's got a interesting sense of humor, really funny guy, but this was a very earnest, sincere move. He just wanted to connect with his fans. He missed them. And he's like, you know what? I'm throwing a hugging event. So he literally hugged 1,000 fans. So just stuff like that, right? Like it's always fan thinking first. And the fans feel that, right? We can feel that. We can feel the sincerity. And when these guys show up honestly for the fans want to show up honestly back. It's not out of obligation, right? It's because they want to. So that's a big lesson we can take away. And number two, I mean, I talk about this on my channel a lot. Number two is vulnerability, right? These guys, it's actually amazing. This is what caught my attention right away with these guys as communicators. They're vulnerable. I mean, we see their vulnerability with each other in the content that we see. We see them interacting with each other. These guys are really showing their emotions. They're really showing their personalities. I watched an ending speech to a concert for this group Stray Kids. You know, at the end of the concert, they're going for like 45 minutes talking about, you know, how much this experience has meant to them, how hard and challenging it's been, but how rewarding it's been. You see some members shedding tears. You see members expressing like really deep appreciation for their fans, really deep appreciation for each other. You know, really see sort of this emotional, kind of vulnerable side from them. And that's not exclusive to this one group or that type of content. There's lots of content we see where we hear these guys sharing their hardships, showing their emotions, showing their little like personality quirks. Like we really get to see them. They share these sides with us. As a result, it's very relatable. It's very real. And I think this might actually connect us the most to these guys. It's like, okay, we don't know them personally, but we feel like we can relate to them because they're showing this really human side to them. Sometimes I even forget that they're stars, right? I'm like watching them on a reality show and they're just goofing around with each other. And you forget that these guys perform in front of thousands and thousands of people and are incredible talent and incredible stars. So I think a lot of people really connect with them as people first. It takes courage to show a certain side of yourself because we're worried often of being rejected or being seen in a negative light. And that's why, it's sort of rewarded when we can be vulnerable, right? Like we're scared of being rejected, but the award or the reward, I should say, is being accepted and loved and having this deeper connection. So you see this all throughout their content. You're getting the sense that you're watching them as real people, and they're relatable people, and they're cool people, man. A lot of them. I mean, I don't love all of them. I don't think I hate anyone, but there's some people you vibe with, and there's some people you don't, just like in real life. But the point is, when we're vulnerable and we show these quirks, and because I think even showing like your little like personality quirks is a form of vulnerability, because often we're trying to sort of present ourselves in a more polished or a certain light. And again, more than that, they're sharing their hardships with us. They're sharing their challenges with us. And, they're sharing their pain. They're sharing their guilt. They're sharing their fears. They're sharing all these things. And these things are deeply relatable. The other thing is these guys are special talents, right? They're really, really good talents. So whether it's rapping or singing or dancing or all three, these guys are really exceptional at what they do. It's not just these guys who can sort of dance and do lip syncing, sort of these like puppets and vapid performers. No, these guys are the real deal. And especially as the industry evolves, the talent's going to evolve too. You're going to see these guys are real talents, and we see the hard work and we appreciate the hard work, namely because we feel that the hard work is for us, right? So when we see people putting effort into things and we see people putting effort in for us, we're going to reciprocate. We want to reciprocate, not out of obligation, but because we want to. And I think that's just human nature. And I think that's another big takeaway for us as people, as a life lesson, as a communication lesson. It's like, hey, when people sense that you're there for them, they're going to want to give back. And we see that in spades with these K-pop guys. Like right after they win an award. They're like, we're not resting on our laurels here. Like, we want to prove to you that your loyalty that you're giving to us, your energy that you're giving to us, your money and time that you're giving to us is worth it. We want to prove to you that we're going to continue to work hard for you, right? That's the sentiment for a lot of these guys and a lot of these groups. And I think that's part of what makes this relationship so special and so fiercely loyal. It's like, I'm here for you. I'm going to work hard for you. And I appreciate you. And I see you guys. And as a result, we're like, fuck yeah. We feel like we know these guys. These guys are open with us. They're real with us. We want to give our time and energy and sometimes our money to these guys because, you know, they're there for us. It's really when you really break it down, it's not that complicated of a formula. It's a pretty simple formula. And these guys have it down. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. And then best of all, when we're watching them perform, we feel like we know them. So there's this sense of like watching your friends or your family on stage when you see them in concert, whether it's through a screen or in person. You're like, you're kind of proud of them. You're like, fuck yeah. You know, these guys are human. I just watched them on a reality show 2 weeks ago talking about their hardships and their struggles and all these things that make them so very human. And then seeing them up on stage perform, it's like, yeah, fuck yeah. You want to be there for them. You want to have their back. It's like watching family there because you feel like you know them. Again, this is just, there's so many takeaways. Show up for people. Let them know that you see them and you feel them and you're there for them. And be vulnerable. Be yourself. Be human. And that this empowers other people to do the same, right? When we see someone being human and being real, you know, it inspires us to be a little bit more real. And on top of that, it enhances the connection we have with others, right? We want to drop the bullshit and we want to get real. And that's what a lot of these K-pop stars do. We see them for who they are. Obviously, they're not sharing everything, but we do. We sense that. We know them. And that's what it comes down to, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to get in touch with me, I've included my contact information below. I work with all different types of professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs. I help them with their communication skills. So if you're interested in learning more and working with me potentially, you can get in touch. Appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.